If you were asked, does your church preach the gospel? How would you respond? What do you think of when you first hear that question, does your church preach the gospel? Do you picture a pastor standing at a pulpit proclaiming the good news? Now that's important, and the good news should definitely be proclaimed from the pulpit of churches. But what we asked was, does your church share the good news? Does your church preach and proclaim the good news? Well, is the pastor the church? If when you thought of that question, the answer was, my pastor does, then maybe you have a wrong view of who the church is. If you think your pastor is the church, or if you think a structure like this is the church. Because every Christian is the church. And when I ask you, does your church share the gospel? We're asking about all the people who sit in the pews or the chairs, not the guy who stands at the front. So when I'm asked that question, does your church preach the gospel? Does your church share the gospel? My response would be, I hope so. I don't spend every day with them. I'm not with them at work. I'm not with them at school or talking to their neighbors or when they go to the store. I'm not with them when they hang out with their friends. But boy, I hope they share the gospel. I hope that that is the whole point of their life. To share the good news, to demonstrate it and explain it. And show that the gospel is real and it is the answer for what people need. It's good that it gets proclaimed from the pulpit. But boy, that's an hour a week. For the church to share the gospel means going out and proclaiming the good news wherever the church is and whatever the church is doing throughout its week. So, let me ask you, does your church share the gospel? Or in other words, do you?